morning on this side of the world. Megha, my colleague, is joining us from Tianjin. Megha, I can see the media center behind you because the main SCO summit, of course, takes place today. But before that, we're expecting a meeting between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin. He's spoken with Volodymyr Zelensky over the phone in just the past few hours. So what's going on? What's the schedule for today?
Yes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be participating in the SCO summit that begins today. Yesterday was the official reception. Prime Minister Modi would be addressing the heads of the states of the 24 nations as well as the heads of the 10 international organizations that are participating at the SCO summit. And after that is when Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding that key bilateral meeting with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin before he heads for New Delhi. I will like to show my viewers one of the leading dailies here in China, in Tianjin, and this is the headline. If you can read this, it says, "She says SCO plays key role in safeguarding peace." In this entire 8-pager broadsheet is filled with SCO-related news. But what is more important and significant to note is on the bottom right, there is an article that has been written and it has focused on India and China bilateral that happened between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping. And the headline is "Partnership seen as vital for Sino-India relations." And the first paragraph focuses on how Xi Jinping has stressed the point that both nations must act as partners rather than rivals and expand exchanges and cooperation. And Rishabh, this is the only article that focuses in this entire 8-page spreadsheet that focuses on the bilateral that has happened. There have been several bilaterals that have happened yesterday, over a dozen and more amongst all the leaders. Xi Jinping has met with the leaders of Cambodia, Laos. He has held a meeting with the Armenian president. We talk about the Azerbaijan president, Turkey's president, but the only focus has been on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping's bilateral, which has found a mention in this newspaper, and a considerable amount of space that has also been given to this article. And that's Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping shaking hands on the sidelines of the SCO summit.
Okay.
This goes on to show how important.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But like I said, we are in a world full of ironies right now. When the Chinese are praising you and the Americans are cursing you, how did such a matter come to pass will be for the historians who read about this and write about it in the future. I'm hoping that won't be an unhappy one. So getting back to the agenda, Megha, so what's the plan for today?
Yeah, so like I said, there's going to be a plenary session that is going to start in just a short while from now. There are, of course, the keynote speech that would be made by President Xi Jinping, who's hosting the SCO Summit 2025. There are going to be other leaders, participants of the SCO Summit, the 10 member nations, heads of the states that are also going to be speaking at the event. And so will Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Focus also has been not just on the bilateral relations between India and China, bilateral relations between India and Russia, but more importantly, this multilateral forum where there has been a discussion that has been had, statements have been issued that this is a multilateral forum that is going to work for the interest, for the mutual interest of nations that are involved in this grouping, whether it is about security, whether it is about cooperation, whether it is about accelerating trade amongst all these nations. So these are going to be focused.
But I don't want to oversimplify it, because to assume that there are not inconsistencies and complications is an assumption too far. Of course there are. The Pakistani Prime Minister is also sitting there. So is the Turkish President. We have great umbrage with their recent activities, which has been to the tune of waging terror against India. We all know what Erdogan is up to and what Shahbaz is up to. But if they were friends with the Chinese, well, they seem to be better friends with the Trump administration right now. I mean, Shahbaz Sharif would be very happy to hear what Peter Navarro has said, and he would in fact be disappointed with what Xi Jinping is saying about India and what's being published about India, as you mentioned, in the Chinese state media, which is the China Daily and others. So that's the schedule. But we are expecting, of course, Prime Minister Modi. He's held a lot of bilaterals yesterday. Are more expected today, and between his time at the summit where he'll be making a speech as well?
Highly unlikely. The official bilaterals, that three of them in total today, is one of the main ones that we'll keep an eye out on. Of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Putin. Yesterday, there were a number of those step-asides that had happened in the course of the banquet dinner that was hosted by Xi Jinping. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ended up, meeting and greeting the Maldivian counterpart. He had a chat on the sidelines with the Tajikistan president. He also shook hands with, he also shook hands with the.
Yes, and of course, he's making a speech at the SCO summit. It'll be a brief statement, it'll be a few minutes long. It's not going to go on forever because there are 20 heads of government over there. But again, that's a public opportunity for the Prime Minister to come and speak and set the tone. But I think the tone which needed to be set has roughly been set. We've had a very respectful and important, very public visit to Japan, which is a friend and will continue to be a friend both economically and strategically. We've reset things with China. I think very clear messages have been sent on our interests and their interests. On the economic front, they certainly align. We have stayed away from the people we don't really want to meet. I've already mentioned the Turks and the Pakistanis, and we won't be attending that military parade in Beijing. So it's a respectful balance, which is what we expect great powers to be striking. There are things that are not in our interest and things that are our interest, and what that is, we decide. We don't get told by the Americans or the Brits or others what is right for us and what is wrong for us, because I can very safely tell you that the wars in the world, the First World War, the Second World War, Korea, Vietnam, you keep even carrying on to the history, none of these caused by India. I can tell you that millions of Indians, over 1 million just in the Great War, died fighting in France, fighting in Italy. So, I think the point of lecturing us after colonialism has ended should have also ended, but it doesn't seem to. Fair enough. Megha, we'll let you carry on with your day and we'll touch back with you shortly as things progress. So that meeting